In a world full of faithless transactions, your personal presence is the most powerful competitive advantage.
You cannot build a business on being stingy. You have to work to be successful in life. My staff calls me mama, because I've put about 35 kids through school already.
Your unexpected path might be your most purposeful one.
You've got to get up, dress up and show up, even if it's in your pajamas.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Confident Alchemist podcast, where bold women take the brave leap to build businesses and lives they deserve. I'm Debbie, and today I have someone with me whose story beautifully illustrates that sometimes your greatest business opportunity isn't something you planned. It's something you inherited, embraced, and transformed into something uniquely your own. I'm here with Charle Bester, the owner of an Astron Energy Fuel petrol station that's become so much more than just a place where you fill up your tank. Our journey is proof that when you combine genuine love for people, with entrepreneurial courage, you can build something that truly makes a difference in your community. Charle's path to entrepreneurship wasn't straightforward. She started university, wanted to study medicine, but changed directions in the first year. She spent 3.5 years working in England, came back to South Africa uncertain about what the next chapter will be. And then her uncle, who owned a garage, offered her to come and take a look at whether she would want to be involved. That was December 2003. And as Charle says herself, the rest is history. She's never looked back. Today, Charle runs an Astron Energy petrol station that includes a Seattle coffee shop, a car wash, and a unique offering that sets her apart from every other petrol station in the area. A free car wash for every transaction over 600 Rand. But what really makes a petrol station special isn't the coffee or the car wash. It's Charle herself. She's there every single day, building a relationship with customers, knowing their names, their stories, their struggles. People don't just stop at Charle's station to fill up their tanks. They stop because she makes them feel seen, heard, and valued. She's been called a free therapist by more than one of her customers, and she wears the title with pride. As someone who believes that the best business is on genuine human connection, Charle's journey, from medical student to petrol station owner, from family legacy to personal empire, and how she navigates that very real financial challenges of running a fuel business in today's economy. Charle, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Debbie.
Charle, you started university went to study medicine, spent years in England, and came back not knowing what's going to be next. Then your uncle asked you to look at his garage. Most people would have seen that as a temporary solution, not a life calling. What was it about that December 2003 that made you decide to stay? How did you go from, let me just take a look, to building something that's truly yours?
I think that the opportunity to work with people every day was something that I never knew I wanted to do on such a level. Wanting to go study medicine, you also want to work with people.
That's good, yeah.
Then when you go from sick people to healthy people and having that relationship with people coming back to you every time was really something special to me. So I made connections. I met my husband on my forecourt. I've built relationships with rep. The one rep came in to me one morning into my office, and when I said a friendly hello, she started crying, and I was like, "What is wrong? Maybe you should come in for a cup of coffee." And she came in and she said she had to start work that same day and she was still breastfeeding and she was just so overwhelmed. And that cup of coffee made the world's difference to her. That was 12 years ago. We're still friends to this day.
Yes.
And that's the special moments that I got from being on a forecourt or having a fuel station.
You've created something unique, an Astron Energy station with a Seattle coffee shop, a car wash, and a free car wash offering for transactions over 600 Rand. But what really sets you apart is your personal presence and your relationship with your staff and your customers. How did you develop this approach to running a petrol station?
Most fuel station owners own more than one station. So my husband and I made a decision very long ago that I only want one petrol station, so that I can be there, so that I can have that personal touch.
Yes.
Because if you own 3 or 4, you've got to divide all your attention between them. And for me, it was nice to stay there and be there every day. When I had my babies, they were there with me until they were 1.5 years old. They could play there on the floor.
Well, beautiful.
That was a decision we made. You know, it was about quality, not quantity.
Yes.
So that's why I'm there every day, having a look at the people. My staff calls me mama, you know, because I've put about 35 kids through school already.
Yeah.
And that was made possible because I have the one and I could spend most of my time there.
You're incredibly transparent about the biggest challenge in your business, cash flow. COVID depleted your savings. Fuel prices keep on rising. That's a reality of running a petrol station that most people never see when they pull up to the pump. How do you navigate these massive financial pressures, while still showing up every day with the energy and positivity that your customers experience?
Having a good relationship with your bank manager is an absolute must.
Yeah.
You've got to build that relationship as well.
Yes.
I phone my bank manager and I say, I'm going to buy fuel. Please look the other way. So that when the day comes that you do need a little bit extra, they know that you are trustworthy, and good to repay them if need be. Like, for instance, at the moment, we've got to buy a lot of fuel and we know we will sell it, but just not now. So then your relationship with your bank manager is absolute key to ensure your success in continuing your business.
Yeah. So cash flow is definitely one of the main problems. But from a woman's point of view, petrol stations is such a man industry. How do you find and navigate being a woman in such a manly dominated industry?
It's quite interesting. The first thing, people look at you, and when you look nice, when I put on my flower dress or something like that, people are like, oh, wow, you brighten up our day. So it's very important to still keep that feminine touch in your male-dominated world. We also care differently for our staff than men do. We build a different relationship. We care about their problems a little bit more. And my staff die on me. They don't leave. So I built that relationship with staff, and I think my mother instincts helps me to achieve that sort of,
Definitely.
to keep the feminine side going in a very, very hard, predominantly male world.
Yeah. Behind your business is a support system that makes everything possible. Your husband. We actually met at the garage, and you, as you say, knew exactly what he was getting into. Work from home, and he supports you enormously. Your business gives you the freedom to be present for your children in the afternoons, after working hard in the mornings. How has building this life and business with a supportive partner shaped both your success and your sanity?
Yes, it's quite important that both of you, is part of this package.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't be able to do it alone. There is no way that I can run a successful fuel station. We work 24/7, which means some nights I had to get up at 2:00 because the generator would die, or somebody drove off without paying. Then somebody has to stay behind and look after the kids. Sometimes, when there's like a technical problem, which I was not able to solve, we'd have to put the kids in the car with the pajamas on, sleeping, and he would come and help me fix the generator's leaking water pipe 2 o'clock in the morning. And without that support, I would never would have been able to do that. So the success is teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. So, even the kids, my daughter loves being the cashier, or she helps me cash up. And it also gives them a bit of an understanding where money comes from and how hard you have to work to be successful in life. It doesn't fall from the sky. You've got to get up, dress up, and show up, even if it's in your pajamas.
You see some powerful advice that when your head and heart differ, you should follow your head. And you have a strong belief that integrity in business is important, that dishonesty and shortcuts never end well. After more than 20 years of running this business, what are the non-negotiables that kept you grounded? And looking ahead, what is your vision for your petrol station and the community you feel around it?
Long ago when I started, I met an old lady and she always said, you cannot receive with a closed hand. And that was one of my mottos throughout my entire business. You've got to give, even if it's somebody's school fees or a contribution to somebody's school fees or helping somebody go through university to make a success of themselves. You cannot build a business on being stingy.
Yes.
You've got to give your bit. And when it comes, there's a lot of schools around us. I love giving out vouchers. I love giving out merchandise to a certain extent. Obviously, you can't give without calculating your expenses. But you've got to give. And my one thing is, people always say petrol stations are expensive, and that might be the case. Our margins are much higher, but I believe if you steal from somebody, like in putting up your margin to such an extent where they feel like they've been robbed, that they will never come back to you.
Yes, exactly.
So, everything in moderation, whereas it's quantity over a huge amount. You'd rather do 10 sales and make R1 than do 3 sales and make R3.
Yes.
Because then people come back. Your reputation is very important.
Yes.
I will never do anything, even if it costs me money, that would harm my reputation.
Exactly.
So you only have one reputation and you've got to safeguard that with your life.
Yes. Charle, thank you for sharing your story with us. And for the reminder that the best businesses aren't just built on products or services. They're built on people, presence and genuine care. Here's what moves me about Charle's approach. She didn't just inherit a garage. She transformed it in a community hub. She didn't just sell fuel. She created a space where people feel seen and valued. She didn't just build a business. She built relationships that have lasted decades. 4 powerful lessons from this conversation. First, your unexpected path might be your most purposeful one. Charle didn't plan to run a petrol station, but it became the perfect vehicle for her greatest gift, connecting with and caring for people. Second, your personal presence is the most powerful competitive advantage. In a world full of faithless transactions, Charle's daily presence and genuine relationships have made her station irreplaceable in her community. Third, financial challenges are real, and they are part of entrepreneurship. But you don't have to define your energy or your impact. Charle faces cash flow pressures, but her customers experience warmth, care, and connection every single day. Fourth, integrity is a non-negotiable. Charle's advice about honesty and following your head over your heart in business decisions is wisdom that comes from more than 20 years of building something real. If you're in the area, stop at Charle's Astron Energy Station. Not just for a free car wash or a Seattle coffee, but for the experience of being served by someone who genuinely cares about you. Send me a message and tell me about a business in your community that makes you feel seen and valued the way the Charle station does. If you're building a business, ask yourself, what's your version of a free car wash? The unexpected thing that you do that makes people choose you over anyone else. Remember what Charle showed us today. that sometimes the most extraordinary businesses are built in the most ordinary places. A petrol station, a garage, a community. And that when you show up every day with genuine love for people, you don't just build a business, you become the heartbeat of your community. Your greatest competitive advantage might not be your product, it might be you. Thank you for listening, beautiful souls. See you next week for another dose of truth, boldness, and transformation.